All right, we are live. Appreciate everybody's patience. Some technical difficulties. Very excited for today and what you are about to see. My name is Dallas BALDRI. I am coming to you from the United States of America, here in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona. And first and foremost, I want to wish and hope that you and your entire family, all your friends, your neighbors, everybody you know in your country and around the world is doing well, staying safe, and most importantly, being healthy. As we always talk about, without your health, none of this matters. Business doesn't matter. You can't perform. So make sure you're taking care of your health first and foremost. I know we have a lot of people checking in from around the world. Go ahead and comment where you are watching from. We will be going through these. We're going to be doing some giveaways. For the sake of time, we're going to go through the comments here in about 24 hours and do some random giveaways. I know we have our group out in different countries, from Latin America to Asia, tuning in. We have the morning here in the United States and Latin America, this side of the world. We have late night in Europe. And then, of course, we have our great people in Asia who it's later for as well. But we're going to go ahead and get right into this very special moment. As I mentioned, we have a special guest that many of you have been waiting for quite some time. Back in December, I believe it was, him and I were talking when he came to my town in Phoenix, Arizona. We were talking about what I was working on. We were at a premiere for a movie that he was being featured in. And I showed him my phone, and I pulled out the app and I said, you got to check this out. This is going to revolutionize financial tech, digital currency, and cryptocurrency. And that's when I first showed him S3 Global and S3 Wallet. And of course, he was very excited and interested in that. And so as you've seen, we have scheduled different events and different things that unfortunately, due to the times, have been postponed, but we can't wait for that to happen. And I want to bring on a good friend, a partner, Mr. Kevin Harrington. How you doing, Kevin?
Hey, Dallas, great. Hey, thank you, man. It's great to be here. And yes, I'm very much looking forward to actually coming to Asia in person in the hopefully the near future, right? Because we've been trying to pull this off. And make a long story short, thanks for having me. And I want to also welcome all the guests in Vietnam. I know we got maybe a crowd there, the rest of Asia, as well as Colombia, and also the rest of Latin America, people all around the world. And it's a pleasure to be here virtually, but I can't wait to meet just about everybody on the line here in person at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know they're all excited to meet you as well, Kevin. And the entire S3 Global community is excited and fired up to definitely meet you in person as well. But ladies and gentlemen, most of you know who Kevin is. You've seen him, you've followed him well before what we're doing here or anything we've talked about with S3 Global. But for those of you who, maybe have been kind of living in a cave or just haven't turned on a TV, haven't opened up a magazine, haven't been on social media for the last, 40 years. I want to give you a little bit of a background on Kevin Harrington, and then I'm going to let him talk a little bit about himself. But Kevin has worked with anybody and everybody. I mean, if you Google Kevin Harrington, you're going to see probably any celebrity that you've ever thought of, from the music industry to TV, to motivators, to business icons. And the reason being is because Kevin himself is a business icon. Kevin has a very vast business background, just a serial entrepreneur from the time he was a little kid. But most people know him as being an original shark from the global hit show Shark Tank. Kevin, it's interesting. I travel almost as much as you. You're probably the only person I know that travels more. But every country I go to, doesn't matter if it's in Latin America, Europe, Asia, any country I go to, they know what Shark Tank is. Yeah. They know what Shark Tank is, and they know the original shark from Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington. Some other accolades is he's generated over $5 billion in sales, $5 billion with a B. He's helped take over 20 companies above 100 million. And I'll say, it seems like you have the Midas touch, and almost everything you touch turns to gold. And so we're definitely excited here. But, you know, what I'd love to do is just start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got started leading up to Shark Tank, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Hey, sure. Thanks, Dallas. So I grew up in a large family. I was one of 6 kids. My mom and dad, the 8 of us, lived in a small house, blue collar area. My dad was a bartender, and he, though, had the vision to be an entrepreneur. So he was saving up money to open up his own bar. When he opened up Harrington's Irish Pub, who was there alongside of him at 11 years old? Me. Okay. I was a bar back. It had a little restaurant. So we were serving food and drinks and all that. But I was working a 40-hour week at 11 years old for a number of years. And then one day I said, Dad, when am I going to start making real money? And he said, well, you got to own your own business. He said, you're working for me. You need to work for yourself. So he mentored me. I opened up a home services driveway sealing business when I was 15 years old, just knocking on doors, cold calling. And that I did for 4 years while I was in high school. Then my senior year of high school, I was going to college. My dad said, well, you're one of 6. Good luck. You got to pay for all your education. Your school, your tuition, your books, your room and board, your insurance, your car, everything, right? And I'm 18 years old. How are you going to start generating tens of thousands of dollars? Boom, like that. So I had a full-time business. I was in the heating and air conditioning business. And so from there, I built that into a $5 million business, sold it. And then one day I'm watching TV and the screen went dark for 6 hours. And it was on the channel that I was on, and it was on cable TV. And I called the company and I said, hey, I'm not getting this channel anymore. They said, it's only an 18-hour-a-day channel. It's a brand new channel. They don't have a 24-hour schedule. So that's when the light bulb went off. This was the game changer for me. I started putting products in the downtime of that 6-hour block. Then I signed an exclusive contract. This was the Discovery Channel in the United States. This is back in the early 80s, 40 years ago almost. And I was putting products, kitchen products, fitness products, Jack LaLanne and the Juicer, George Foreman, Tony Little and Fitness, Billy Mays, all these different products. This is where we started growing a business to billions and billions of dollars. We went public on the New York Stock Exchange. Stock went from $1 a share to $20 a share. We grew to $500 million in sales. And this was an amazing time. So then, of course, right after that, I get the phone call from Mark Burnett. And he says, hey, Kevin, I've been following you doing all these amazing things. I've got this new TV show. And I'm like, hey, I don't go in front of the camera. I'm the guy behind the camera. He said, I know, but come on out. I want to meet you. And so I did. I went out and met him. And then he said, well, look, he said, you take a lot of pitches. He said, this is all it is. People are going to come out. They're going to pitch you. You're going to either invest or not. And I said, Mark, I do that every single day. Okay. So we rolled tape. I did a little audition and he said, you know what? I'm pretty sure this is going to be unbelievable, but we'll call you back. They called me a couple days later and they said, you are the first shark. So I did the pilot. I did 175 segments and they're running all over the world now. We're in 100 countries. And actually one of the cool things, Dallas, if those that don't know this, in many countries, I was in Mexico recently, right in March and right before COVID, there's Mexican sharks. Because they have local versions. There's sharks in South Africa. There's sharks in Israel. There's sharks in Australia. It's become a global brand. It's the #1 business show in the history of television now on a global basis.
Truly amazing. I mean, just from that, to me, we talk about in business with entrepreneurs because many watching are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, just, timing, right? And the connections and, some might say, well, he got lucky. He got a phone call and he was on Shark Tank. No, you had worked your entire life to build that reputation, that credibility, different industries. probably many ups and downs, and you know, I learned a lot about you. Actually, you know, other than from our conversations over the last couple of years, from reading one of your books. You know, I heard your story, and it was unbelievable, because sometimes on these types of interactions, you don't get the whole backstory. So I would encourage you to check out. What was that? What is that first book called? That first one. That was a great book.
Well, the first book is called Act Now: How I Turn Ideas into $1 million Businesses. And I shared some of the challenges. You know, as we all know, if most people out there are entrepreneurs, I'm sure listening, that not every day is a bed of roses. You know, some days it's thorns and blood and grief and challenges, just like we're dealing with during this COVID crisis. So, you know, you know, over the years, I've had many ups and downs, but this has made me a stronger entrepreneur.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about Shark Tanks in 100 countries. I must not have been to any of the not 100, because, like I said, everybody knows Shark Tank. That brand has been incredible, and I think that really shows, you know, your accomplishments. You know, the numbers are incredible, the people you've worked with, the things you've done, but the fact that you were selected as the original shark from Shark Tank. I mean, that says a lot right there, and what you've done. So congratulations on that. And, you know, you mentioned something about your father, and I love that. You know, I debate parents, and we have different ideas. I remember when I was a financial advisor, I used to sit down with people and say, you know, do you plan on paying for your kids' college? And it usually was 50-50. Sometimes the husband and wife would start arguing. I myself put myself through college, and I think that made a huge difference, because you got to do it. It's up to you. But who were? It sounds like your father was a huge influence on you. Who? Tell us a little bit about that. And did you have any other mentors in your business career? I'm sure you had a lot, but who were some that really stood out?
Oh yeah, fantastic. I believe every entrepreneur should have some great mentors in their life. And fortunately, I mentioned at the age of 11, working side by side with my dad, and he mentored me to be an entrepreneur. And so, and now, as I started my own businesses, though, I needed additional help, because I was good at sales, but I wasn't great at finance. And so when we first started TV business, we were getting so many orders, but we didn't have inventory. So I tried to get bank financing, lines of credit, and I got turned down by 5 banks. Finally, I said to myself, I got to get somebody that knows how to raise capital, how to deal with banks, because I'm sales and marketing oriented, not the financial guru. So I ended up getting introduced to a former bank president who had retired. He took a look at my business, what I was doing, and this is the deal he said. He said, listen, he said, how much money are you looking to raise? I said, we need 3 to 5 million. He said, how many banks have been turned down by? I said, 5. He said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get you at least 3 million, and it's probably going to be from one of the banks that turned you down. And he says, if I can do that, I'm not going to charge you a dime. He said, then we're going to sit down and talk, because you're going to want me to be part of your team and be a mentor. And I said, dude, if you can bring me $3 to $5 million, let's do it. So, I mean, 90 days later, there's $3 million sitting in my bank. This guy did it. I hired him. He became my COO. He also became a mentor to me. He was a lot older than me. So I was a kid. I was in my 20s. And he was like in his almost 60s, you know? So yes, that was a financial mentor. Then I got an invite to go hang with Richard Branson, and Richard Branson, you know, he said, I'm going to spend a couple days with you. And I could give you a dozen things that I learned down there hanging out with Branson, one-on-one at many times there too. So Richard Branson helped me, my father, Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar was one of the greatest motivators and sales trainers in the world. I got a chance to be mentored by Zig along the way also. So, I mean, over the years, I say I've had more than a dozen amazing mentors in my life, and anybody that's out there that has had mentors, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to be tuning in to get some.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think, your father probably was your number one and always will be, and
Yeah.
really got you going. And some of those names you mentioned, I mean, most of us here know those names, Richard Branson, Zig Ziglar. I mean, those are some of the best. And what's great is now you're in that category of incredible mentors. And I know the impact you've had, even indirectly, on people you probably haven't met, and the ideas and the inspiration you've brought. Just, who knows how much you've really inspired, and as a great mentor. And I know I've learned a lot from you as well. I know, a lot of people know Shark Tank. Many people know about inventing the infomercial. But what have you been doing since Shark Tank? Tell us maybe a little bit about what you've done, or maybe TV is not what it was. I think we all know that. But what have you been doing since the Shark Tank days?
Yeah. So my business before Shark Tank was putting products into distribution. We used TV to help us market them, but we had retail distribution, international distribution. I mean, we went global. I mean, I owned AscenaTV.com for many, many years, built that to tens of millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, has changed a little bit as viewership has dropped. Where did the eyeballs go? They went to Facebook, to Instagram, to the internet, to social media, right? So I'm still a product marketer, and I have been for 40 years, but I just use different ways to do the marketing. So we still do TV, but we use a lot of digital now. We're using, where before we used to be 80 to 100% the television route of driving sales. Now we're 80% digital, where we're using social media influencers, digital, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So we're still doing products. We're still selling products on QVC, HSN, retail stores around the globe, licensing them around the world, etc. So we're building global brands and utilizing the power of digital media is our main shift in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and we've seen this, great business people in other areas, and with how dramatically the way business and the world has shifted, in the last 5 years, 10 years, but really 5 years. Unfortunately, not everybody will say, I don't want to categorize everybody, hasn't adapted and shifted. And we've seen some of those, even some incredible brands that I never could imagine wouldn't be here, have gone away because they didn't adapt like you did. And that says a lot for you and your team. You have an incredible team, I got to say as well. I'm fortunate to work directly with many of them, and they're just phenomenal people. But, the world's shifting fast in the last 5 years. Well, I think it's shifted even quicker in the last 4 months. And of course, we're talking about with the global pandemic, COVID-19, of course, the world has dramatically changed in every aspect. Even for me to go outside and go to a restaurant that we like to go to, for a couple months, we couldn't even go. Some months we do takeout. Now we can wear. I mean, the world has changed in every aspect. And, a lot of people I see, Kevin, are talking about, they're focusing on the negatives, on what's changed and what they can't do anymore, how it's hurt their business, what, this and that. And unfortunately, it feels like it's turned into this big, overall, this negative, and it gives people this uneasy feeling, when in reality, times like this can create some of the biggest opportunities. And if you go back in history, you see some of these wealth transfers, or these people become multimillionaires, billionaires out of things that the world sees as a tragedy. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the detriment that the pandemic has had, right? But I want to focus a little bit on the positive. How have you seen, okay, you talked about shifting to digital 80% in the last 5 years plus. How have you seen the way business is done change, specifically since the pandemic, over the last 3 to 4 months?
So I'm gonna give you a great example. So as an entrepreneur, and you asked, what have I done since Shark Tank? My business model is, yes, I sell products, but I also invest in companies and advise. I sit on advisory boards, and I'm on 8 public boards. And so for example, just to take one company and how we dealt with COVID. We as this was a company that's in the it's an energy drink product competing in the world against Red Bull and Monster, but it's a healthy product. Okay, so when we launched this product 5 years ago, and this was a startup, all right, from literally it started at zero at one point. At five years ago, wasn't even a couple $1 million in business. Okay, what I set out to do is, most energy drinks, where do you buy Red Bull? At the retail store, right? Yep. You're going to go buy it at the drugstore, at the grocery store, wherever. And we said, yes, we're going to have that distribution. But as we saw things changing, we said we want to have a B2C business, direct to the consumer also, because this is where we control our own destiny. So before COVID hit, we had implemented a massive direct to the consumer campaign using social media influencers, direct to the consumer for not just the influencers, but Amazon and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And so now COVID crisis hits, all the stores were almost all closed that we were selling our product. But guess what? The consumers knew about the direct to the consumer way to buy. So our sales went up 150% during COVID, because people, they wanted it, they'd stock up when they were buying it, and we became a COVID darling stock. Stock was $4 a share. Today, $13 in a few weeks' time. Okay. Now the company grew. I said a couple $1 million. It's now a $900 million business. Okay. Wow. And most of that wealth has occurred in the last 4 months. It was worth a couple $100 million. It's now worth $900 million. And this is because we focused on direct to the consumer, social media. In fact, what we're doing is using fitness influencers to just get out there on a daily basis. We have hundreds and hundreds of them pounding the market, talking to their clients about Celsius.
Wow, that's an incredible example. And it really comes down to that shift, and a quick shift, right? You guys were fortunate because you already knew that's the direction that business in the world was going, even faster and faster. It seems like every month. So when this happened, you were already in a great position, it sounded like, to really capitalize on that. What type of industries do you see or do you think are going to thrive during this pandemic, which we don't know how long it's going to last in many countries around the world? And even beyond post-pandemic, what are some of the industries you think or types of business models?
Well, so, I mean, look, I think that as we've talked about before we get started, when you look at anything that ties into virtual, I mean, right now, in school in the US, you're going to give kids choices, I guess, where they can go to school or take it virtual. So virtual training and sales training and virtual businesses like that, anything that has an effort to move people towards their computer and communicating the way we are. I mean, Zoom as a company grew to an $80 billion asset recently. So, I mean, and that's just one industry. Think about the whole PPP industry, the personal protection industry. Every single day, I get literally dozens of emails from people with products that are in that PPE kind of space. All right. So sanitizing boxes for your cell phones and this and that. So, I mean, and obviously the masks and the sprays and all that kind of stuff. But, I feel that every industry has the opportunity as they look at what opportunities do they have to have some virtual tie-ins and virtual opportunities. So, I mean, but yes, across the board, if you're following lots of different industries, Some have been hurt, obviously, like the hotels and airlines. But on the flip side, when you see companies that are doing in-home sales training and Zooms and PPE, there's many opportunities out there also.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, with S3 Global, it's just, it's almost like you said, it's built for these times. Now, I know the groups in Vietnam and Colombia and Philippines and Malaysia, they all love to get together to do business, but it's not a necessity. If you have a business that's, phone-based or web-based, I mean, you virtually can do anything and everything. You mentioned, virtual businesses and training. Having a training platform in a community that helps entrepreneurs, teaches them, financial technology, how to do business, blockchain, being able to actually build a business using the Zooms, using social media, following your lead, doing it from your phone, you can do it from your home. And I think it's those types of businesses, S3 and others, it really gives people an opportunity to get through. Maybe their business has been eliminated, maybe their job's been eliminated, but you have to shift. I mean, you have to shift, you have to take action and capitalize when you have a platform like S3 or others, and really go forward, or you could end up being left behind and being one of the casualties of this industry when it comes to business. We talk about virtual, we talk about digital. What are your thoughts on, cryptocurrency and or digital currency and the role that it's going to play in business and the world post-pandemic?
Well, I think there's all kinds of things that go on a global basis that that make cryptocurrency a powerful way to be able to do business globally, right? So I think that as COVID has obviously not, there's no borders for COVID-19, right? It has gone everywhere overnight here. Cryptocurrency has the same capabilities of going everywhere also. So I believe that what S3 Global has been doing is powerful, and I mean, it plays right into what many of us are needing on a global basis right now. The world of digital and crypto, it's getting more powerful and more powerful every single week, every single month.
Yeah, I agree. And, I've been seeing a lot of articles and Forbes and different business sites, not even just in the US, but globally, where, the UK is talking about creating a digital currency. There's a shortage of physical coins in the US. You see, countries that are looking at going digital. One reason, health reason is, I've seen that COVID and different viruses can transfer on physical cash.
People don't like carrying money around anymore. I mean, this is a big thing. The banks. I don't know what they're doing with currencies, but people have obviously moved away from cash in a big way.
Yeah, and I rarely carry cash myself anymore, even before this. But now, my little 9-year-old, she had some cash, and I said, hey, don't touch that. We got to spray it down with Lysol, because if you think about it, I mean, we don't know a lot, but whether it's COVID or the next virus, I think that is going to have an impact that really turbocharges it. But it was already going that direction anyways. Business is going digital. We're all on social media, we're all on our phones, so it makes sense to utilize digital and cryptocurrency.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the timing is now. I think it's great.
Yeah, one of the platforms that we're working on with S3 is to really help the utilization with cryptocurrencies. Where you don't just use them as you're storing them. Some people don't know what to do with them, but actually the usage of them, being able to buy your flight, your travel, being able to purchase goods both in store and online. And I know you have many connections that you'll be able to help us with on those businesses around the world. So excited to get that going.
Absolutely.
So Well, good deal. Well, what would be your advice for businesses? Businesses of really all sort on there's probably a lot, but what's some of the top advice you have for businesses on what they need to do to succeed post COVID-19, post pandemic?
That's a great question, and so it's difficult to answer that, not because different industries and different businesses need to be doing different things. But I think that it just in general, entrepreneurs need to really focus on the e-commerce side of what they're doing. There's too many. I mean, the whole retail world in the United States. There's J.C. Penney, Sears, Brooks Brothers. All these people are going bankrupt, one after another. You know why? Because they didn't have good e-commerce plans in place ahead of time, right? So the e-com side. In fact, the other day I pick up my mobile phone, go onto a website, and it's all coming through gobbledygook. And I'm like, oh, it's not mobily optimized. Okay, it's like, how can companies in today's world be putting websites out that don't transfer to your mobile phone? It's because they don't know. Every entrepreneur needs to have an audit of all of their digital assets. And I'm going to tell you this right now too, Dallas. We've mentioned TV. So TV right now, because many people are home, they're on their computers, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. The viewership levels and user levels is increased so dramatically, including television, because the people are at home. Now, so now you've got higher viewership, but lower advertiser base because the concerts are closed, the restaurants are closed, the movie theaters are closed. The advertisers aren't promoting events, but there's all this viewership. This allows great opportunity right now for customer acquisition testing. So I say, do an audit on everything digital, get in there, focus on e-com, focus on customer acquisition. And we had a campaign pre-COVID that was running an $18 cost to acquire a customer. When we did all those things I just told you with the audit and the customer acquisition cost strategy, we got it from $18 down to $5, and this company was able to double their sales. So it's little things that can be big differences in the profitability and the growth of your business.
No, that's incredible. And I love talking to you because I'm sitting here, and when you see me looking down, I'm taking notes myself because you've been through it all. Not probably this on your list, and now you can mark off this, but you've been able to adapt and change no matter what the situation is. And so I love hearing your advice. I love hearing what you're saying. Many people that are part of the S3 Global community are entrepreneurs. They have, they work within the community, but they also have their other businesses. And so I think that's great advice. What Kevin is saying.
I'll give you one more little tip. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's like, okay, so I'm a product guy and we sell a lot of products, but I went back to the drawing board and said, what products do people need right now? So they're staying at home. So they need more kitchen products. They need tools because they're not buying new houses. They're fixing up their existing houses. So I went back and looked at all the things I've done over the years. I brought back the magic saw, the magic wrench, the magic hammer. They're all crushing it now on QVC and in digital. We're doing tens of millions of dollars on a couple of products that we haven't touched in years. And celebrities that we're dealing with, they were selling their high-end fashion stuff, but now they've pivoted to high-end, but not high-end fashion for the runway, but work from home fashion inspiration and affordable fashion work from home, because now people are working from home. So these are little pivots that you need to make that could be big game changers for many entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and you had mentioned TV viewership. Obviously, it shifted to more of the Netflix type, but you're right. The viewership on everything, that because people are not working, they're at home, and that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, everybody has to cook. The restaurants aren't open in a lot of places, or they weren't open, so now you got to cook. And so now you need a lot of these products that people probably had shifted away from because they're used to doing takeout or going out to eat every single day. So it really is amazing.
I've been taking pitches on virtual cooking classes and virtual fitness classes and virtual this, and this is the wave of the future. There's no time better than right now. This big transfer of wealth is happening now. Entrepreneurs that get in on the ground floor of new opportunities can crush it.
Yeah, and you mentioned too, these new industries that are coming about and shifting, PPE. I mean, it's incredible. You would have never thought that the PPE industry, it's almost like a commodity, and buying and selling gold. And, everybody and anybody from different industries are jumping into it. But that's what people see an opportunity. And those who take action, but do it the right way, do it strategically, even in this crazy time, are the ones who are going to succeed, I think, in all facets of business. Kevin, I know we're coming up on the last couple minutes. I truly appreciate your time. Always enjoy, and I know the team. I'm reading through the Facebook comments; they're going crazy right now. I'm going to have to go through, and we'll go through those many comments here on Facebook. But what are some of the projects you're working on currently? I know you mentioned a few, but what are some of them what's something that you're working on currently that maybe you could share with the world?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm involved in several dozen companies, and from an advisory board standpoint, 7 or 8, actually 8 public boards. But one of our companies is taking old expensive lighting, and we're reinstalling high energy, much more efficient lighting. And we just signed a contract with H&M stores. We got a $90 million contract with H&M to re-outfit all of their lighting structures, and we're going to save them 50% on their lighting bill. We take a little percentage of the savings. That's one little new public company. But I mean, I have to mention the book that I'm writing, because we've talked a lot about this, mentors out there. My newest book, and if anybody would love to track this down, it's called Mentor to Millions. And I talk about how you can get a mentor in your business. You need a mentor in your business. I actually mentor a lot of different companies, but this is a step-by-step process that, when I was one of the founders of the Entrepreneurs Organization, EO, when you joined EO, you got a group of mentors to give you advice on your daily operations. So Mentor to Millions, you can get information on it, kevinmentor.com. And if there's anybody out there that would be so kind as to get an advanced copy of this, we would greatly appreciate it, because we started off talking about my father, the mentored me, and who else mentored me. Dallas, that having the right kind of, I say, dream team surrounding you can be very powerful.
No, I'm excited for that, and you can count me in on an advanced copy. And we'll have to talk about getting that translated and distributed over and via Canadians. I know they would definitely love it, and I'm sure you already have plans for the Spanish community. But no, that is something, guys. If you have an opportunity to learn from somebody like Kevin, you do it, and not just on live webinars or meeting them in person, which many of you are going to have the opportunity to do, but follow them, read, study, watch the podcast, follow them on social media, absorb everything you can, because there's not too many people that have accomplished what Kevin has, and he truly is a global business icon. Kevin, where's the best place everyone can follow you?
So my website is kevinharrington.tv. Very simple, kevinharrington.tv. There we got there's free downloads and things there, but also like on Instagram, the real Kevin Harrington. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I got a YouTube, a bunch of videos and stuff too, but my website gives you direction, and it's great place to just get a couple downloads also.
Yeah, we'll make sure to post those links, everybody, and also get them translated. We have, as I mentioned, we have simulcast right now in Vietnamese, Spanish, and probably some other languages as well. But Kevin, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, from the entire team, S3 Global, S3 community. We thank you for your time. We thank you for allowing us to introduce you to this project, and looking forward to having you at our event and having you more involved and helping us with some of these different programs and platforms. Thank you. Make sure to follow Kevin Harrington, get his book, and we'll see you soon, hopefully in Asia. Can't wait to hop on a plane soon.
Dallas, I love being here. Thanks for having me. One thumb up for you, one thumb up for the S3 global community. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Good seeing y'all. Look forward to meeting you in person. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you've watched the replay, go ahead and comment below. We want to know who's watching. We're going to do a giveaway. We have some huge announcements coming for S3 on what we've been working on and what we've been developing. Once again, you know, one of the best of the best. You've had the opportunity. Share this with everybody you know. Let people know that you can succeed during COVID-19 if you have the right business, you have the right opportunity, you have the right platform, and you have something in an industry that is going to continue growing post-pandemic, which we definitely have here. And so I'm so excited. I'm honored. I'm fired up. Hopefully you are too. Let's go. Let's go strong. And signing out, Dallas BALDRI. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. We'll see you soon. Take care.